There are many ways to express dissatisfaction with a product. You can boycott the consumer so you don't buy any products from them again. You can write angry letters and form a group. But one consumer took it a step further and found a new, innovative way to express his dissatisfaction. I'm here today with Sam. How are you doing today, Sam?
Very good, sir. How are you?
I'm absolutely excellent. Now, you were involved in a movement called Retake Mass Effect 3. Can you tell us a little bit about that movement?
It's just basically a collection of Mass Effect 3 fans. They're really passionate fans of not just Mass Effect 3, but of the company Bioware who makes the game. And they all seem to be unified by one thing, which is that they really don't like the ending to this blockbuster game. And they want to petition Bioware and ask that they change the ending or modify the ending to give them more options to craft how their story ends. Because the element of choice has been the staple of the Mass Effect series.
Now, for those who are not familiar with the game, can you give us a little brief overview of just the ending, of why you have this dissatisfaction for him?
Well, like I said, I mean, all the previous Mass Effect games, and even Mass Effect 3, like 99% of it was based upon player choice. How your story played out depended on the decisions that you made in the previous games. And without spoiling too much, the ending to Mass Effect 3 basically rendered many of those choices irrelevant. It doesn't matter, you're given a set of choices, and no matter which one you pick, you pretty much end up in the same spot, and that spot wasn't very pleasant for many of the gamers.
Now, you are trying to make a statement to Bioware, the developers of this game, in a very, very unique way. Tell us a little bit about what exactly is the Retake Mass Effect 3 Cupcake Campaign.
The CupCake campaign basically is a drive set up to send Bioware 402 cupcakes. All the cupcakes are divided into equal parts: red cupcakes, blue cupcakes, and green cupcakes. The frosting is red, blue, or green. But they all taste the same. And also the cupcakes are labeled A, B, or C, depending on the color. But it doesn't matter which one the developer chooses to snack on, they will all taste the same, which is kind of a jab at the endings that we got. No matter which ones we pick, we all end up in the same place. And we thought this was a way of telling Bioware, or wrapping up all of our feelings about these endings, but in a sweet way, in a way that tells Bioware that we still are their fans and that we still support them and we want them to do right by us. We thought this would be a positive way of getting that message across.
And of all things, why make the choice of cupcakes? It kind of seems like an odd marketing tool to express your dissatisfaction. What gave you the idea of cupcakes?
Well, this whole idea, to answer that question, I got to go back to how it started. This whole idea was put forth by a girl named Natalia Morera, and she suggested that we do it with donuts, that we ought to send them dozens of donuts, red donuts, blue donuts, green donuts, no matter which one they eat, they all taste the same. But I thought it was genius, and her boyfriend, Brian Kershaw, just basically mentioned it as an offhanded comment, as a blurb. I thought it was brilliant, but I realized quickly that donuts wouldn't work because most donut shops or bakeries just don't have the means of making a blue, red, or green donut. And they probably wouldn't taste too good either. I thought about it, and cupcakes were brilliant, though. Cupcakes would work perfectly because you can make the frosting any color that you want. So that's why we ended up going with cupcakes, simply because they're really feasible to make the color combinations and the A, B, and C thing written on them. But then we lucked out. We found a great company, Fuss Cupcakes, who makes really tasty ones as well. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Now, you said it's 400 cupcakes. That seems quite expensive. Is this movement all out of your own pocket, or how exactly did you raise the funds for this?
Well, what I tried to do was I tried to find a bakery that had its own PayPal account, but most don't. And Fuss Cupcakes is really close to Bioware's studio. So what ended up happening was I had to basically give my credit card and pay, and then set up a PayPal drive through Chipin to recoup the loss. Basically, I basically took a gamble and hoped that the community would catch me. Close my eyes, took a jump, and see what happens. And luckily, I am part of a community with some amazing people, and we raised all the money I needed in about a half an hour.
Wow, how much did you need?
I needed $1,005. I ended up with $1,131. I couldn't actually stop the chip and dry fast enough.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't I couldn't believe what just happened. I quickly hit like the stop button. So the excess $100 was donated to Full Paragon, which is a children's charity that's gotten some nerd credibility because it was endorsed and I think partly founded by Nathan Fillion of Firefly. So yeah, anybody who wants to make a good contribution, go check them out, fullparagon.com.
Now, I know if people contributed, they obviously got to pay for these cupcakes, but they also were able to send a small message. What gave you that type of idea? I know you mentioned that they can accompany notes and things like that. And have you gotten a large amount of those?
That idea was just so that the contributors could personalize a message to Bioware. All the notes were basically really short. They're about a sentence, just a blurb. You know, examples like no matter which one you pick, they're all vanilla. Or, you know, you have a difficult choice to make. These cupcakes will, you know, satisfy your hunger, but they will also rot your teeth. You know,
Yeah.
Little blurbs like that. The only thing I had to do was kind of make sure that they weren't offensive or anything like that, but I never actually got anything like that.
Okay.
I got one that was a little bit, you know, like upset, and we just tweaked it a bit with the permission of the person who sent that contributor. So other than that, the whole purpose there was just that the contributors could have some personal connection with the developer through those notes.
Absolutely. Now, some gaming outlets have been critical of the campaign, saying it kind of cheapens the goals of the group altogether. Do you think this is the case?
Those gaming outlets are the same ones that have been criticizing us since this whole thing started. So it doesn't really surprise us that we're getting that reaction from them. But we've got other gaming outlets that have been, in fact, most gaming outlets have been quite supportive. Game Informer ran a wonderful video piece just the other day on Start Select. That's what their thing was called. And Forbes magazine, surprisingly, we were all surprised by that, but Forbes magazine has been very supportive as well, talking about how this is a great marketing move and how Bioware's participation in all this and what they ultimately do, if they actually listen to us, would be good business. So we're not too worried about our detractors on the gaming sites. They got their opinion, we got ours, and we'll keep holding the line.
Now, you mentioned it a little bit, you hinted at it. What do you think will be the response from BioWare? Do you expect one, or do you think they're just going to let this campaign go unanswered?
Well, some BioWare employees responded to the thread. And they said they were actually quite happy about this. Again, I mean, I just want to state for the record that these cupcakes were not touched by the fans themselves. They were. Yeah,
there's no poison cupcakes.
There's no poison cupcakes here. Fuss Cupcakes doesn't deal in that. Okay, it makes really tasty ones, and we called them Fuss Cupcakes, handling the order, and they're being delivered directly from the bakery. So, Bioware's not worried. And they've actually been really excited. Thomas Abrams, one of their employees, wanted the cap raised. He wanted more cupcakes. So they've been quite enthusiastic about it. What their response will be, they said that they were going to at least take some pictures. They might even take a video. I don't know. As for what they do, as for how they respond to the campaign as a whole, to the message, we have to wait till April the 6th to find that out. We're hoping for the best. We're hoping that BioWare gives us a little bit more sweet in the bittersweet ending. But we really can't say right now. Just gotta wait.
So you're not kind of concerned that BioWare will take the cupcakes and see it as a good marketing ploy, but not understand the underlying message of the color coding and the vanilla that it's like? Because that does seem like a concern, that they could enjoy it, have the cupcakes, see it as a gesture of goodwill from the community, as opposed to one of objection due to their particular ending.
Well, on the forums, I posted exactly the significance of the color coding, and all the game sites, even the ones that were disagreeing with us, have explained exactly the meaning of the colors and the symbolism behind it. I'm not particularly worried that BioWare will miss it. Even the developers that have responded know what this is about. One of them quipped that no matter which one I eat, they're all delicious. So I'm pretty sure they understand what it is. Plus the notes that we've sent have also made reference to it. So I'm not too worried about that.
Alrighty. Now, this is, again, a very, very creative idea to express your dissatisfaction. Are there any other creative solutions in the future?
Well, depending on the mood of the community after April the 6th, we might be making a 3D sculpture cake.
Wow.
Of Marauder Shields, who is basically just just one of the many Marauders. They're like a common enemy that you face throughout the game, but he's the last one. And the joke there is that he's considered the real hero of the series, because if you let him kill you, then you don't have to see the endings. So, so we've decided that if the community is really happy after PAX, if they're really enthusiastic, if they still want to go ahead and do this, I will put some calls into Edmonton and see if something like this could be done. I might have to coordinate with some fans from Edmonton to do this, because you really need to work closely with the pastry chef to make a 3D sculpture cake. And they are expensive, and this would be a big project. But if the community is down for it, I'd be willing to put in the effort.
Well, thank you very much for talking to me today, Sam. Really appreciate
it.
And if there's any kind of final words or messages you'd like to give to not only the people who helped you make this possible, but also to Bioware as a whole, is there anything you'd like to say?
I want to first give a shout out to all the people who helped me: Natalia Morera, Brian Kershaw, Bioware social network users, The Wampus, Loop, Reptilian Rob, and the guy who helped me organize this as well, Braden Lewis. I couldn't have done it without them, and all of the contributors. I know there's a lot of people that I just can't rattle off the top of my head right now, because there's just too many, but everybody who contributed into the entire Retake Mass Effect 3 community, I could not have done this without you. To Bioware, I know you're listening to us. I hope you do right by us, and by do right, I mean really give us more options to personally wrap up our story the way we hoped we could wrap it up. Remember, we are your rabid and loyal fans. We will, if you do right by us, we will sing your praises, as we have always done for the last decade and a half. So here's hoping.
Here's hoping. Now, again, I am Andy, talking with Sam, the coordinator of the Retake Mass Effect 3 Cupcake Campaign. We are both holding the line, and those cupcakes are arriving March 29th, and thank you for listening.